What's up, YouTube? This is StephenWorldwide. I'm going to give you another video blog today on this. Actually, it's a beautiful day. It's a cool and windy day today. There is not one cloud in the bright blue sky as I begin my journey, my commute to my job. Into the great wide open. All right, I've been talking this week. I've just uploaded 2 videos about my experience working multiple jobs, doing private teaching, and working on my master's degree at the same time while making a boatload of cash. And I thought I told you everything. I keep thinking about more stuff that I missed. I can't guarantee that this will be a short or long video. I have no idea. At first, at the beginning of the week, when I thought about this video idea, as I clean this smudge, this video idea of telling my story about the past couple years in Korea, what I was doing job-wise, and then also thought explaining every little detail to help somebody replicate that if they wanted to. And as I said, it's hard to replicate exactly what I did. I tried to recruit a teacher to basically take over my life, take my apartment, take all my jobs, just replace me. And you'd have a nice apartment, and it required you to move to the apartment in the city. And that teacher would be making a lot of money. They'd be making 6 million won a month or more if they get new students. Never happened. It was hard to find somebody like that. And like I said, when I tried to find replacement teachers for my students, they quit. They didn't want to take lessons anymore from anybody because it wasn't me. They just wanted me. So let me get back to filling the gaps, just some extra things. If you're watching my videos, I just want to say thanks a lot, first of all, because I've never made videos this long before. The last video was 37 minutes plus, and I can't believe it went that long. As I was shooting the video, I knew it was a little bit, I know that they're going to be 15 minutes because that's how long it takes for me to get from here to the school. And then I stand around for another couple minutes to finish up what I wanted to say. And yesterday I sat at a bench and I kept talking, and I looked and I was like double the normal time. But that's fine because I do give you stories, and I think I'm giving you stuff that you're not hearing from a lot of other. There's plenty of YouTube bloggers that are teachers in Korea. In fact, part of why I'm doing this is because I'm inspired by them. Before I went to Korea, I went on YouTube and I found Busan Kevin. To me, Busan Kevin was, he was the first one that comes up when you search teaching English in Korea. His video came up. It's old video, like from, I don't know, 2003, 2004, 2005. He's on a grainy, it's dark in his room, and he's on it's a grainy screen. He's on his webcam, one of those old USB webcams you plug in, I guess. He's wearing a white baseball cap backwards, and he's talking about the jobs you can get when you teach English in Korea. And that was one of the first videos I saw that made me feel like, all right, well, somebody else is doing it and they're enjoying it, so why can't I? So that inspired me, and first I thought, why am I going to make these blogs? Because everybody's doing it. Well, I'm wrong. Not everybody's doing it, number one. Number two, it's cyclical. So people come to Korea, they'll make videos, and then they'll leave. Or they'll stay and they'll stop making videos like what I did. I made a ton of videos my first year, and as I explained before, I just got bored of being the camera guy. Every time we go out with friends and do interesting stuff, I'm the guy holding the camera, and people don't want to be on camera usually. So I kind of stopped doing it, and there were so many things I did that I was like, oh man, this would make an awesome video. People would love to watch this stuff. All right, but I'm back to it. And my perspective in my life is totally different than everybody's. Nobody has the same exact experience as me. And what I did the past couple years, private teaching, jumping from different Hagwon to different Hagwon, doing a master's degree, all that at the same time, having a food truck, you know what? I might be the only damn one when you combine all those experiences together. Look who's coming. Can you guess who's coming around the bend? Pretty cool stuff. We have the same commute. He goes the other way than me. All right, I want to focus on, what I didn't focus on was how to do private teaching for adults. And what are you doing with adults? With kids, it's pretty cut and dry. Students are going to need to, middle school and high school students start getting testing in their major subjects, and including English. So parents are paying a lot of money to get their kids ready to be tested and get a testing score, and then they do a TOEIC or TOEFL score when they're in high school and when they're in college, and that score is so important for the rest of their life as far as getting accepted into colleges and getting a job. So parents invest and spend a lot of money on education for that. But at the elementary school ages, that's when the foreigner teacher is paid to get the student just enjoying English and learning basic English and conversation skills, because they don't need conversation skills on these standardized tests. I think they're adapting it more for that, but the problem with English teaching is it's not, the conversation is not stressed. And if you see a classroom, if you see an English classroom that's taught by a Korean teacher or a Japanese teacher, I guess, it's just the teacher talking. That's it, just talking about grammar, and the kids just sit there looking at the teacher and listening. So listening skills, reading skills, grammar, all that stuff. Koreans can probably, Koreans that are skilled in studying English probably know grammar. They can break down grammar better than I can. But they want what I have, and they want what you have. They want the fluency of the conversation. So kids are cut and dry. Kids, is just about getting them comfortable with basic English. Adults, it's not cut and dry. Adults have all different needs. All right, careful as I cross the street. All right. Okay. All right, with adults, when I told you that you should sit down and for free meet somebody at a coffee shop and find out all of their expectations, get as much information as you can to put together and to design and decide what you're going to do to help them. How are you going to perform to make yourself worth that money that they're giving you? And overall, the overall idea is that you give them everything they want and more. Whether or not they I just want to say it's okay for you to go beyond and to give them more than what they ask for as far as teaching English and talking about culture or whatever you do, but it's safe. But you want to deliver exactly what they want, and finding out exactly what they want, that's a challenge. But you got to ask the right questions and realize that they don't know exactly what they want, and they're trying this thing out. A lot of them have never taken lessons before. You have to be wary of the students that have taken lessons before from other teachers. And you got to think to yourself, are you going to be as good, or if not better, than their last teacher? If you're not, then are they going to be disappointed? And people are not direct here and in Korea. They won't tell you exactly what you do that they don't like. If you're lucky, if they do. If they give you some constructive criticism, that's great. That can help you be better for the next time. unless it's very specific to them. I taught many different kinds of adult learners. I would teach senior citizens, and one that comes to mind was she was wealthy enough to pay me once or twice a week to sit down at a coffee shop for an hour and chat with her. And her purpose was, she travels, and her and another friend her age were going to travel the next year, so a year ahead of time. They want to start getting comfortable speaking English. And as I said, you know, and her English was great, and I told her that, but she didn't last long. She lasted maybe 6 classes over a 2-month period, something like that. And that's fine. You'll get that. And I asked her, you always ask them, what do they want to use? Do they want to use textbooks? Do they want you to print things out on the internet? I had a class that I was creating dialogues for. Ask them what they're comfortable, how do they learn? What are they comfortable with their learning style? And they might not know this stuff, so you might have to experiment. Don't spend money on a textbook unless adults specifically ask you to get a textbook for them. You find out what they're interested in. So if you have some mom that wants to practice English, you know, don't be bringing Car and Driver magazine to leaf through and to talk about if she has no interest in cars, obviously. And if she's interested in stuff you don't know much about, here's another big point. You're going to use the internet to learn and train. If you don't think that you can be a private teacher, if you don't think you can be an English teacher, you're wrong. Because you can learn to do anything you want to do. And you might not be good enough to be in the major leagues, you know. There's that expression that if you put your mind to it and you work hard, you can accomplish anything. And there's a comedian that said, well, I want to be the starting shortstop for the New York Yankees, but throwing a ball against the wall and fielding grounders for every day of my life is not going to get me there. So some things you have to be realistic about, but use the internet and learn how to teach business English. When I haven't done a lot of business English classes, but if I apply for a job and I explain all the experience I do have teaching and I get hired, you better believe I'm going to go to YouTube and look up every business English teaching thing I can find and learn how to do it. So find out what your adult student wants, what their purpose is for learning English. Then go on the internet and spend time researching and finding answers for them. I had a couple of students that were in their 30s. Their English was at the beginner level, I would say high beginner. And I wrote dialogues for them. They met me on their lunch break. They were paying me $40 a piece. I was getting $80 an hour for that. And I spent the time, I would write a dialogue every week relating, and the first would be kind of controlled, where it was a fixed conversation relating to something that might be going on in their life that was contextual for them. And then I would use the same language and have some fill in the gaps where they would fill in things that they would normally do. Like I would start off with, yesterday I went shopping with my mother. And then the next example would say, yesterday I went blank, blank, and they would have to fill in what they did or something like that. And I built it up. So I made my own materials for that class. I had a couple of moms that would meet me at a coffee shop, and this was what a majority of the classes are. They're just paying for your time to sit there and be interesting, be fun, speak clearly, and don't talk the whole time. They don't talk much because they're shy, or they always believe their English sucks. You can have a Korean that speaks fluent English and they'll always say their English is not good. It's just part of the culture. It's like they never pat themselves on the back and say, yeah, my English is pretty good. They'll never do that. They're humble. So don't talk the whole time. Give them opportunities to talk. And that's what you're going to do most of the time. That's what I did most of the time. When adults, I asked them, what do you want? A textbook? They said, no, I just want English conversation with you. I want practice with English. Those are great, but as I said in the other video, they drop out. So those things usually don't last, and you're lucky if it lasts. And you're lucky if they don't want you to prepare anything ahead of time. Just show up and be ready. All right, I'm going to get back to my list of things I wanted to mention. So that's basically all I really know about teaching adults. Find out what they want. Give them exactly what they want. Do your best to figure out what they want and give them what they want. And you can't always do that. Sometimes they're going to quit and you can't avoid it. But when you meet with them for the first time, you set everything up. And if they're not really sure what they want, just tell them. It could be one lesson. It could be the first 2 or 3 lessons, and they could drop out if they want or keep going, and they'll feel good about it and probably say yes. All right. Everything is negotiable. And when you have that first consultation, you'll add more to your spiel as you learn, as you do more lessons and people drop out. Konnichiwa. And you learn what to add to try to eliminate any problems down the road. Can't solve everything, but you can try. One of the things I mentioned, and it's kind of silly, is you can negotiate coffee. Who buys the coffee? You might think that's silly, like who cares? But if you're meeting somebody every week at a coffee shop and you're buying a coffee every time and spending let's say you spend $5, all of a sudden that 40 an hour turns into 35 an hour, doesn't it? And I'm not one of those people that will sit in a coffee shop and not buy anything. If I'm going to be there for more than 10 or 15 minutes, I'm not going to conduct myself that way and use a public space. Not even public, it's private space. So, I mean, if an employee asked me, please buy something or leave, I would just leave. But that's just me. All right. You don't have to buy coffee. If your student buys coffee, I think it's all right if somebody buys coffee, you can sit at the table. If you have a regular coffee shop, I think they'll give you some leeway because you're making them a lot of money. You're bringing a lot of people there that are buying coffee that would not be there without your presence. So you keep that in mind too. So they'll give me some leeway. Sometimes the coffee shop would be near my house, and I would run into the coffee shop, say hi, I would use the bathroom. And I would go quickly because the coffee shop owner was my friend, and I do a language exchange there. And like 5 to 10 people show up and buy coffees one night a week. So I'm making the guy a lot of money, so he doesn't care. All right, the sun is out. I'm gonna get a sunburn. What should I do? Maybe I'll hide behind a building. Yeah, I'll hide over here. Maybe I won't get a burn. Just a couple more minutes. So I'm here at the school. I know I've been talking for 17 minutes, right? Okay. Negotiate coffee. If you're meeting 2 people at 2 different coffee shops during the day, sometimes you'll go to a different coffee shop 3 times a day. And if you buy coffee every time, that's $15. It adds up. So part of the negotiation can be, by the way, would you buy me a coffee every time? And they usually say yes. So just keep these expenses in mind. Usually nobody pays for travel. Travel is something that you have to cover and pay for. Unless you get a deal with a hagwon that they'll pay your taxi fees on a rainy day, or I had a hagwon do that. I told them I ride my motorcycle, but on a rainy day, I got to take a taxi. It might be 7 or 8,000 won. Will you pay for that once or twice a month? They said yes. All right. I talked about advertising, and I talked about how you can get your name out there. The number one way. What's happening? What's up, Jess? I'm making a blog, making a video blog in the shade so I don't burn my head. Have a good day. All right, I'll catch you. All right. One of the teachers going to work. Okay. Yeah, advertise. There is a little bit of risk. I thought about this. You know, if you make a flyer and you post that up all over the city, you know, might that be a problem? Might somebody see that and get tipped off by it? There are so many ways I guess you could get busted. I might as well mention them. I said you shouldn't take cash, or you shouldn't take wire transfers, because your bank book and your bank has a trace, especially if somebody puts a name in there, like English lessons for my son or something like that. You're communicating with your phone, you're using Kakao Talk and text messaging. You know, if a government agent seizes your phone, and they can scour through your messages. So I guess, you know, there are ways if they get tipped off about you, that could be a problem. But, you know, for 2 years it was fine. So I can't guarantee that that might not happen to you. So you have to, there is risk with what you're doing. Also, business cards. I made business cards. You could do that too. I just thought it would look professional for me to hand business cards out to people. They can hand them out to their friends, or their friends can take a picture of it. And I'm happy I did it. It's nice. The business card, I put my name on it, my number, an email address to reach me. Did I put my email address? Maybe just a phone number, because I didn't want people to send me spam. I guess that's why I didn't do it. And I also had my picture, a small picture of me, because so people can remember what you look like, and they might forget who you are a month later when they look at the card, but they'll see the picture and remember when they met you. And the only mistake I made with that card was everything was in English. It said, you know, call me for help with English, TOEIC studying, beginner to advanced levels. I'll help you with your research papers, business interviews, business English, job interviews, and everything was in English, and that's a mistake. Just put everything in Korean or Japanese or wherever you live, and just have a little bit of English on there. Because moms can't read English, and you have a card full of good stuff that they can't read. They can just read English. You're an English teacher. That's it. So that's my advice to you. You can design a business card, and I think it's 30,000 won to get a stack of business cards. And I rarely got calls on the business cards. I rarely got calls on the signs. Once or twice, all right, maybe 4 times a year, once a season, once every 2 or 3 months, I would get a call on a sign in a coffee shop window. So that's not the best way to get students. The best way to get students is your current students refer you to people that they know, because people do what people do. All right, a couple things I was not clear about in the last video. I talked about putting students together to make a big class so that you maximize your earnings per hour. And I talked about how parents call you because of their kid. And what I wanted to say was, parents might be open to having a group class, but they don't know anybody else that fits the same profile as their child. Age is a big deal, and they want to keep students' ages together in the same class. So finding another student that is at the same ability level, that is of a similar age, within 1 year difference. Their moms are friendly, and also the two kids are friendly. It's difficult to find that combination. So that is one of the challenges you have. And like I said, I think it's possible. I did it. I think you can find parents that they can match some of their students together. I just had one student that I was disappointed. He wanted to take my hour for 40, and his English was good enough. I wanted to put him with 2 other students that I was teaching in a different coffee shop. And I was gonna have that class of 3, and that would have paid 110 for that hour. No, I offered a discount. It would have been 100 for that hour. And the mom was open to it, and I shared one mom's. I made a Kakao Talk group, and I put one mom and the other mom together, and they were communicating in Korean. I could read it, and they were open to it. The coffee shop mom, the owner of the coffee shop, said, "Sure, bring your son. Stephen's great. It'll be a great class. Go ahead." And the mom said, "Okay, great." The mom asked her kid. The mom asked the 11-year-old kid, and the kid said no. I wanted to strangle the kid. Being sarcastic, obviously. It was a nice kid, but why would you leave it up to the kid to decide? The kid's gonna say, "I don't know them. Of course I don't want to be in that class." That's what the kid said. I don't know them. I just want Stephen to teach me alone. So I granted the kid's request, and I taught him alone right after. I taught him alone from 8 to 9 p.m. 8 to 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night, I took his class. What I was trying to do was get him into the Sunday 5 to 6 p.m. class is what I was trying to do, and give myself some sanity on Monday night so I can go home at 8 or 8:30. But I was sitting still teaching this kid at 9:30 in a coffee shop, and he's 11 years old. That's how much the mom wanted me to teach the kid. All right, so that's your challenge, is to find students that have the same age and ability level and have the moms bring them together so that you can maximize what you make per hour. When you get to that level, when you get so busy that that's the only choice you have. I guess that's basically it. Yeah, that's basically it that I wanted to talk about. If I missed anything, then I'll make another video with stuff worthy enough to tell you, to help you, give you ideas of how you can make money in Korea doing private teaching, because the regular teaching jobs are great. Don't forget, how much does an apartment cost? You get a free rent and free apartment with a lot of these teaching jobs. That you might as well add another $500 a month to what you're making. So that's one of the best things about Korea that is hard to get in other countries, is that free apartment. Don't take that for granted. All right, so that's another video blog. I wanted to talk about my experience with graduate school and getting my master's degree. That will wait for another video. Have a great day, and until the next video, I'll see you.